Ben, you excited to be back as Batman in the Flash?
No.
Why are you doing it?
I don't know. Money, power.
So how much money do you think it's going to make at the box office?
Millions.
How much is it going to make if you weren't in it?
Thousands.
You're real high on yourself, man. Honestly, what percentage of Batman fans think you're actually the best Batman?
No, 1%.
Do you realize that the only reason anyone's watching this movie is because Michael Keaton is back?
That son of a bitch.
Guys, just got out of the Flash. This is just an after theater reaction review to what I just witnessed. I'm not going to give away any spoilers. Obviously, don't want to spoil the movie for you. But even for this screening, we didn't get any post-credit scenes. So I'm going to have to watch the movie again to see the post-credit, after-credit scenes. I'm sure it'll be great. Movie ended really great. And you'll see, movie is one of the funniest, or the funniest, and most fun DCEU movie that I've ever seen. And honestly, this might be recency bias, but it is my favorite DCEU movie that I've seen. Probably the best, yeah, I'd say the best DC movie since The Dark Knight. And it really comes down to Ezra Miller's performance. Personally, obviously, I'm not a fan of what he's done. I hope he changes and becomes a better person. But honestly, his portrayal of the Flash, the two Barrys, is what really did it for this movie. If you didn't like his portrayal, this movie really doesn't even matter. Even with Batman, Michael Keaton, Sasha Calle's Supergirl, this was a Flash movie. And that's what I wanted to get out of this movie, was a true Flash movie, and that's what we got. The time travel aspects, the Speed Force looked so good in this movie. The special effects were, you know, pretty solid. I know they're probably going to still touch it up for the final showing, but this really is an Ezra Miller Flash movie, and he did a phenomenal job with both Barrys. I think some people, if you're not expecting two different versions of the Flash, might be annoyed by a version of the Flash, but honestly, that's part of who the character is in this movie, and it feels a lot like my favorite movie of all time, Back to the Future. There's even a running joke about it, which kind of goes a little bit too long, and you'll see what I mean by it. I'm wearing Michael Keaton's Batman's logo from the original Batman that I saw when I was 8 years old, my first superhero movie ever. And this is the best action that you've ever seen from a Michael Keaton Batman, just in one scene in particular, and you'll know what I mean when you see it. He's great in this. Michael Keaton's always great in everything he does. He doesn't overshadow what you see from Ezra Miller. Sasha Calle, Supergirl, and I wish we see her again in James Gunn's DC universe. She plays an integral part in this movie. Again, doesn't overshadow the Flash. If I had one, I don't know, negative thing to say about this movie is I think the emotional beats that were intended to really make you maybe tear up a little bit, cry. I could hear a lot of people sniffling in the background, shedding some tears. It just didn't hit me as hard as maybe it did some of the other audience members. And if you do feel it, it's going to definitely even enhance the movie even more. I love time travel movies, as I mentioned, and they did a great job. Another explanation of time travel that maybe you haven't heard before in a movie, and I think it worked. It wasn't too complicated. It was simple enough. It was explained enough by a particular character that, you know, it was a good enough explanation. Let's just say that. But that is my quick reaction and review. Don't want to give away too much. This is definitely a dope movie. Go check it out when it comes out on June 16th. I'll do a full-on review of the movie here in the next coming days. But again, one of the funniest, or the funniest and most fun DC movie I've ever seen, and the best DC movie since The Dark Knight.